Hello viewers from wherever you're watching us from around the world. Welcome to QTV, the Gambia's first private TV station, and we are broadcasting from our studios here on Kairaba Avenue. My name is Ali Sise. As usual, I'm here with my co-host Sidi Sise. Sidi.
Thank you very much, Ali.
Thank you very much, Sidi Sise. Well, as you're all aware, as we speak, members of the ECOWAS Parliament Joint Committee on Political Affairs, Peace, Security and African Peer Review Mechanism, Legal Affairs and Human Rights, Social Welfare, Gender and Women Empowerment in the Gambia for a delocalized meeting, relating to security, of course, as we know. The ECOWAS Parliament has a huge role to play as far as, promoting and maintaining peace and stability in the sub-region is concerned. Since its creation in 1975, ECOWAS has actually adopted several texts relating to promotion of peace and stability in the sub-region. But implementation remains a challenge. And then joining us this week in the studio, I have Honorable Senator Edwin Suno Jr., who is the chair of the ECOWAS Parliament's Committee on Political Affairs, Peace, Security and African Peer Review Mechanism. He is serving member of the Liberian National Assembly, of course, representing the Bami district in the Liberian House of Representatives. Honorable Snow, welcome to the State of Affairs program.
Thank you very much, Ali. It's a pleasure being here.
And also in the studio, I have Honorable Ladi Ayamba, who is the chair of the ECOWAS Parliament's Committee on Social Welfare, Gender and Women Empowerment. She's a Ghanaian and representing the people of the Pusigi constituency in the Upper East region in the Ghanaian Parliament, and of course also a member of the ECOWAS Parliament. Ma'am, welcome to QTV.
Thank you.
Well, I will start with, I'm not sure whether this is the first time you've been in the Gambia, but to start with, Honorable Snow, I will start with you, then to Honorable Ayamba. Your impression so far about the Gambia since your arrival for this delocalized meeting?
Well, I've visited Gambia quite a lot now.
Okay.
Before during the Yahya Jammeh's era, I visited a couple of times. During the impasse, I was part of the mediation with then President Ellen Sirleaf. I came on one of the discussions here. Since the impasse, the Yahya Jammeh's impasse, I've been in Gambia a couple of times now. I was here I headed the ECOWAS parliamentary mission team for your elections, December 4th elections. I was here for your inauguration. I came in with President George Weah. We flew in together. I've been here on countless private visits. I have very close ties in the Gambia, so I'm always here. And of course, I'm here again. So I've been here to inspect our troops, visit our troops. I've had a lot of meetings here with the Electoral Commission, of course, with the President Barrow. Of course, I've been here to see the President on numerous occasions. So Gambia is more like a second home.
It's more like a second home. Let me bring in Honorable Ayamba here. Your impression so far about the Gambia?
Thank you very much. So far, so good. I have come here, this is about my third time in Gambia. The last time was when we came with the issue of Goodluck Jonathan's foundation. Yeah, I was here. Previously, we had come, I think, with Honorable Senator Snow on the issue of pre-elections, where we met and discussed and looked at issues pertaining to elections that will be run, and it was quite good. We visited a lot of places. My impression about Gambia is that it's a very peaceful country from observation. Coming into Gambia and comparing to other places, you realize that they have a very serene environment. The people are very calm, and one thing interests me is that their speeches, or wherever they are talking, even naturally, is very calm. They don't have that harsh type of tone or high something. And I've also observed that they like to always harmonize very fast. It's one of the things. Interacting with just a few of your parliamentarians, I observe that they are always ready to listen. And I think it's very good.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Ayamba and Honorable Snow. Let's now get to the reason why you are here this time, this delocalized meeting. Why using such a theme?
You know, Aliyu, thank you very much again for the invite. Our region is very is going through stormy weather at the moment. There are a lot of issues we have in our region. We have a lot of political affairs, peace and security issues in our region. We have 3 of our member states that are currently being led by military juntas. We've had failed coups in our region in the last year. We had a major violent demonstration in Sierra Leone a few days ago. We have peacekeepers currently in the Gambia protecting the presidency. We have problems in the Kasama region in Senegal, and we have problems. Our region is going through turbulence right now. So we thought it would be fitting that we should come in one of the member states, and this time around the Gambia, where we could meet and discuss the issues. How can we reprogram our agenda, so to speak? For many years now, we've had one direction. Let's do it this way. Now you have technology. The age of technology has come in. You have fake news have come in. You have different situations have come in. So we've decided, and this is a work program of the ECOWAS Parliament. So regularly we meet in a member state. Most times when you have military takeover, you have demonstration, there's loss of lives, human rights issue comes into play. So we also brought on board the Legal and Human Rights Committee that's part of this. Most time when you have these issues, the vulnerable group become our mothers, our sisters, our daughters. So the Committee on Gender is also there to guide the process, to say, look, yes, this may be a male society because, the women are fighting us every day for a higher percentage. So this will be a male society. But here are the women, here are your mothers. Yeah, this is what we could do. This is how we can solve. For example, we've had situations. I was involved in the peace process in the Côte d'Ivoire, for example, when between President Babo's regime and then coming over to President Ouattara. Most of the Ivorians at the time thought that President Babo's situation was caused by his wife. Say, the woman was the cause. In Gambia, we had similar situation. In Sierra Leone, we hear that in the different countries. So we felt that we should also bring our mothers on board, bring our sisters on board, and you'll be surprised at the level of the ECOWAS Parliament. We have very few women, but trust me, they are very powerful. We thought that bring them on board, discuss the human rights issue, discuss the minority issue, which of course in this case would be our mothers, our sisters, our daughters. And then, of course, discuss the security architecture of our region. And the meeting has gone very well, extremely well.
Wonderful. Once Sidi wants to come in here, I have a question for Honorable Ayamba.
Thank you so much for being part of us this evening. He said earlier, the women representation in Parliament quite limited. When you talk about gender equality, you look at the Gambian context. It seems gender equality and women empowerment is not doing well for us in the Gambia, considering the number of women we have in our parliament. What's your impression of that?
Well, lest I forget, let me first of all say that the ECOWAS Parliament, as has been stated, is a body made up of 15 different community states in the first place. And secondly, this parliament, without the 15 states, is nowhere. So we want the public to understand that we work in the interest of the community. Now, in working in the interest of the community, most of our work is collaboration, understanding, association, and supporting. Now we have come up to the stage where we actually now do monitoring, because we have our laws that our states have signed onto. And with that, we have a lot of work to be done. I am saying this because it shouldn't be seen or recorded anywhere that we are a law-making institution. No, we don't make laws.
We don't make laws.
We don't make laws. We actually follow up on individual countries because we know each country is unique. And based on its uniqueness, we handle and support and monitor the activities of that country and make sure that they follow what they have signed on to, so that we don't go wayward. We will continue to keep a united front. So the first thing I would want to state under that is that ECOWAS coming to Gambia hasn't come to compel any government to say that they are not going on a third term or a fourth term. We are discussing and ensuring that we collaborate to let us understand what will promote and project democracy. And in this discussion, one of the issues that we are discussing is the issue of tenure of office of our presidents, which we have picked up in various countries to find that some of these countries that even for now have got problems or some kind of uprising have issues of tenure, where some presidents have tried to change their constitutions, review them in order to increase their tenures. Some people too have tried to bring in more members of parliament to ensure that they have more on their side, which is not the best. And say ECOWAS only goes in to discuss, to talk, and to get that understanding, which we haven't gotten to. So let us have it on record that ECOWAS is not making any law or is not criminalizing any government or any president whatsoever.
I mean, it's good to make this clarification for people to know that the ECOWAS parliament doesn't make laws. But isn't this one of the weaknesses of the parliament? You don't have the powers to make laws.
Yes, it's not a weakness, because we're dealing with so many countries and every country is unique. Anything that we are supposed to do should be something that we all agree on, which is to the best of all the countries. Supposing the ECOWAS parliament sits down to make any law, you could find the following day, for lack of a better word, the following day maybe some country will get and say, as for us who were not there, we didn't agree. It was not properly discussed in our place. So why that? So we find a way of ensuring that whatever we say or do is in accordance with our discussions and acceptance of the issues. Not because we cannot make laws. No, we can. But that is the situation we are in.
You did say earlier it's not a sign of weakness, or it's not weakness.
Very good.
But the essence of parliament is to make laws.
Yes,
so,
the essence of...
you know, if you cannot make laws, how effective can your institution be?
Yes, we cannot make laws, not necessarily, where the word cannot, in quotation marks, because if I say cannot, we can, but we don't as at now. What we do now is to follow the laws and make sure that we monitor and ensure that it is followed accordingly, and that the best ones that we have put in place in collaboration with all the 50 member states are those that are listened or adhered to. Not because we cannot. If I say we cannot, I am looking at the situation and how it is being presented as if we are here to make a law to cause or to do or to undo certain things. No, it shouldn't be seen in that light. Now I come to your main question on the issue of gender or women. If I say gender, it would be picking men, but I am not against men. I am not in any way against men.
Good to know that.
No, and I cannot be, because I am a male-dominated person. We are 8 and I'm the only woman. And I can assure you that I have always lived with men and I know what they can and what they cannot. However, on the issue of women in politics or in position or in decision making, we still have a long way to go, especially as you just directed, and directly so, to the Gambian parliament. It is unfortunate that in the last elections, as I said, I was here for the pre-meetings towards the elections, but I was not here for the monitoring of the election. Or the observation, whichever word you wish to put in that is appropriate. I wasn't here. But out of 19 women who contested, only 3 women had the opportunity to get into parliament. And even the 3 women, there is an independent candidate. That, supposing that she didn't contest, the enemies would have been having only 2. What a sad situation. However, my greatest problem about women in politics and how we are being treated, including me sitting here, I'm a third timer. Before you go to parliament, before even you think that you are a politician, it's not the best. We are also humans. Our heads, we are not born tabula rasa. We think, we know, we listen. And I have always made it clear, if a woman can carry the zygote into a baby for 9 good months, sometimes you give birth in the 10th month, sometimes 11th month, taking care of that child, eventually giving birth to the child, and then taking care of the child, even monitoring and doing everything to the child, and sometimes even into the university level. Excuse my language, I'm not against males. I'm not, and I will not be against males. No, I will never do that. Sometimes, even into the university level, especially when
but this is not done in isolation. You know,
say that again.
It's not done in isolation.
It's not done in isolation. But let me make it clear. Don't waste your time in talking, because I have been in it and I've been married. I have had children and I continue to have them, and with my grandchildren. I want to tell you one thing, and which you must accept. It is a fact that the men have put themselves at a pedestal where they believe that without them the women are not.
Is that what you believe?
Yes, and most of them, hang on, most of them even think that they are rather those who take care. But get out to the market there, just here, just on the road. Be there until 7, 8, 9 p.m., 10 p.m. and find out who are those sitting along the streets and selling. They are women with children who might have had to take care of their homes before even coming out there to sit. But once the man goes out and brings his $1 and says that take it, he forgets of the numerous things that the woman is doing, breastfeeding, carrying the child, going for the water, having to serve him food. And excuse me, I'm a Muslim. I'm a Muslim by religion. And I know how most of our people do their things. He even expects you to carry the food, come and serve him, hold the water for him to wash his hands, for him to eat, he washes his hands, for you to remove his shoes, for you, all those things, you cannot pay for them. I will not talk of the back end of the child. He goes into the room, he sleeps on his bed, and sometimes leaves you even in another room with the child. Can you pay for it? And yet, these same men, we groom you, we ensure that you grow, we wish you the best, we pray for you, we cry for you, we don't sleep because of you. We even when you are as old as anything, we don't ever see you to be old. We still see you like the babies we are nursing. And yet wait for a woman to go into a contest. You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked to see what men will do and what men will say. Some of the men align women, and one of the greatest problems that cause women not to want to be in politics, and also let me associate it with the Gambian issue, and even my own country, Ghana, is that most women who go into politics are associated with prostitution. Don't forget about her, that prostitute. No, just look at, but can't you see how she dresses? But don't you see how she talks? Look at the car she's riding in. Where did you think she got it? As if you are a dummy. As if that woman is a dummy, cannot even think for herself to be able to do those things. Now it hits women off.
Yes, Honorable. Now let me bring in Honorable Snow here. It's quite interesting. Well, that's Honorable Ayaba for you. It's always.
But we'll come back to that.
Exactly. Honorable Snow. I mean, we know a lot is happening around the sub-region. Security, insecurity, political instability. You know, a lot of things is happening. What do you think are the most pressing issues for the ECOWAS Parliament as we speak in relation to maintaining and preventing conflicts and other issues affecting the sub-region?
I think we need a lot of visibility. We need to get the message of ECOWAS to the people. For example, our meeting currently going on at the ICC, at the International Conference Center. And let me thank the Gambian people for such a beautiful building. It's a wonderful facility, honestly, that they've put to our disposal. If you left there and went to Fajara, all right, and ask someone in Fajara, are you aware that ECOWAS Parliament here and they're discussing peace and security? They tell you no. You know, and publicly, I must say this morning, when you invited me yesterday to take the airwaves, and I had to run it by the Secretary General and the staff of the Parliament and mention you, they were very impressed that you've come from a private radio station. You've given us a lot more visibility. You've been there at our meetings. You've covered our meetings. You invited us to do an interview today. You're inviting us to come to your studio. So you should even be sending us a bill, for example, because your station has really given us the deserved visibility.
Absolutely.
So what we need in the ECOWAS right now is to get the message to our people. Because you ask someone, do you know ECOWAS Parliament? They tell you no. Sometimes we have our troops. I mean, I was here in Gambia once where I had to come to speak to the troops when the Gambians were protesting the presence of the ECOWAS troops here, because they didn't have a clear understanding of the role. So we had to come, we had meetings here. Fortunately, during the elections, the government decided that all of the candidates will have security assigned, but there was issue that the troop is here only for the presidency, which is not the case. It's here to maintain peace and security. So what we need to do in ECOWAS now is to get the message to the people. And in the next few months, I'm going to be pushing this line that we must form a partnership with media institutions in the respective countries, not necessarily pro-government, but also not necessarily anti-government, but media institutions that will balance the news and take the message to the people. Like my colleagues just said, some of the problems, and we discussed it during our meeting, some of the problems we have in ECOWAS is that the harmonization and domestication of our community texts. So we go to Abuja or the head of states meet, and then they pass on the text. And then it has to go to your country to get domesticated by your parliament or your National Assembly. It doesn't get passed. So you will have an ECOWAS treaty that has been passed, ratified by the parliament, by the Ghanaian House of Parliament, or by Sierra Leone or Liberia, but it's not ratified by Gambia. So if I come to Gambia and say, oh, there's this ECOWAS protocol that gives me the right to do this, and the Gambian police or immigration or someone says, well, it's not ratified by our National Assembly, it's not domesticated by our, the person is right. For example, the brown card, the ECOWAS brown card. So the ECOWAS brown card has been introduced by, it was passed by our head of states. It should be domesticated in all of the member states. So if I'm traveling to Gambia, I don't need a passport. I should just come to Gambia with that, my national ID, and present it to the immigration, and I can go through. But you have not yet domesticated that law. So Ghana has a green card, a brown card. Senegal has brown card. One or two other member states have brown card. But if my colleague now came from Ghana, left her passport and came with that brown card and gave it to the immigration officer would think the person is crazy. So we need to do a lot of awareness. We need to work with our national assemblies. We need to work with the media institutions. We need to work with our citizens so that people get the message. And the last 1 year, last 2 years in our region has been very difficult. We went to Guinea. There was problem in Guinea. President Conte decided that he was going to have a referendum against the will and aspiration of the people of Guinea. ECOWAS tried to intervene. He said no. We flew in there, we stayed at the airport, we slept at the airport and had to leave. We came in, we arrived in Conakry by 6 o'clock that evening on Aska. They denied us entry into Conakry. We stayed in the airport and took the Aska flight the following morning at 7 a.m. to get back from Conakry. And it was just chaotic. Then they had a referendum, then they had the election. What was the outcome? But guess what? When they had a coup in Guinea and ECOWAS went in, the citizens resented ECOWAS because for them, ECOWAS did not do much. Now, if we had the media on our side, if we had awareness for people to know that we were here, we slept in the chairs in the airport, we were not permitted to come in, we tried to intervene, we spoke to your government wouldn't listen, and there's the outcome. People would have known that ECOWAS made an attempt. But all they knew, ECOWAS did nothing. So you speak to the ordinary Guinean and say, ECOWAS did nothing. They supported a coup, they didn't do anything, and now they want to come on board. So it makes it difficult for us. So to go directly to your question, our biggest challenge is visibility and awareness. Until we can find a suitable relationship with media institutions in all of our member states, we should have an ECOWAS hour, for example. We should come to the Gambia, find a radio and television station, sign a contract with that station, and do ECOWAS hour. So at least every day or once a week, a citizen of concern would turn into that radio or television station and say, let me listen to ECOWAS hour. So you know what's happening in Liberia, you know what's happening in Nigeria, you know what's happening in Niger, you know what community text we're talking about, exactly. You know which country has harmonized an instrument. Until we can do that, our challenges are very enormous.
Well, viewers, you know that you're watching State of Affairs here on QTV. I am Aliou Cisse, and this week we are having two parliamentarians from the ECOWAS Parliament, Honorable Edwin Sunu Jr. and Ayamba Ladi Ai, who are our guests in the country for a delocalized meeting. We'll go with a short break, and when we return, the discussion continues.
Espas Motors is the largest and most modern auto service in the Gambia. Espas Motors is the only authorized dealer in Chevy, Mercedes-Benz trucks, Mercedes-Benz buses, Kia, Ford, Futon Mini and Midi buses, Futon trucks. At Espas Motors, we have qualified professionals who use modern technology to diagnose and repair all brands of motor vehicles. Espas Motors services include auto sales, auto repairs, vehicle painting, availability of high-quality spare parts, towing services. We are reachable at any time. Call Espas Motors on 352222 353-4444 or locate us on the Bertil Harding Highway. Espas Motors.
Hello viewers, welcome back from that short break. You're watching QTV, the Gambia's first private TV station, and we are broadcasting from our studios here on Kairaba Avenue. My name is Aliou Cisse, here with my co-host Sidi Cisse, and our guests, like I said, Honorable Edwin Sunu Jr. and Ayamba Ladi Ai, parliamentarians, of course, ECOWAS Parliament, who are in the country to participate in a joint ECOWAS Parliament delocalized meeting on peace, security, among other issues relating to the community text. I mean, Sidi, you wanted to come in before we go.
Thank you very much, Aliou. Honorable earlier on talked about a lot of things, but if you look at most of the things that are happening from 1977 today, 75, you talk about one thing there and another thing actually happens. You talk about security, you talk about peace, you talk about stability. But we've seen, ECOWAS states are prone to coup d'etats. So when you talk about the challenges, visibility, citizens knowing about ECOWAS, but there's something more to it than that. And I think, we say you cannot make an omelette without not breaking the egg. So let's get into the reality. What is effectiveness here? What is really the issue?
If anyone gives you the clear picture of what's obtaining or the causes of coup d'etat, that person will be wrong.
You said earlier, Guinea, for example.
Yes.
Condé went back to the people, twist their arms, whether directly or indirectly, and make them go to a referendum to amend the constitution for him to sit there.
Yeah.
So we know what the cause was for that coup d'etat. That could have been avoided.
What was the cause for the coup d'etat in Mali?
I mean, of course.
That's the point I'm making. So Guinea, the then president, arm twisted his citizen, went for a referendum, went for an election, which we believe was fraudulent, won the election, questionable. Then there was a coup d'etat. In Mali, the president won a free and fair election. I was in Mali. Free and fair election. Then they had their parliamentary election a few months later. The president, the ruling party, got the minority. The president wanted the ruling party to have the majority in parliament. So then they started trying to manipulate the system so that the ruling party will have the majority. And there was a popular uprising and it led to the coup. Yeah, so different reason. I'm coming, sir.
But it all come to boil down to one thing.
I'm coming, sir. I'll learn.
Okay.
Different reason. One was constitutional manipulation. Other one was trying to get the majority at all costs. That was a similar situation, you may say, But again, different situations. Then you go to Burkina Faso. President is doing a great job, we all believe. Burkina Faso is rising. Everyone's looking up to Burkina Faso. The military gets up one Sunday morning and said that the president is not giving enough money to the military. It's not giving enough support to the military to fight the rebels, to fight the insurgency. So they want a coup. And then they overthrew the president. So you have a different reason there. Okay. So then in Guinea-Bissau, the president is having a cabinet meeting, goes to the parliament house, they're having a cabinet meeting, and the next thing, there's gunshots all over the place. And they want to have a coup. Yes, they failed. Fortunately, it was a failed coup, but there was coup attempt. So we don't have a single cause for our coup d'etat. That's why I said we have to restructure our architecture. We have to go back to the drawing board. And I believe strongly, the first thing to do is awareness. When our people are vulnerable, our people don't know them, they don't have a message. They feel left out. Some countries, it's winner take all. So you win the election, you believe that, oh, my party won the election, so we own the state. So there's no room for the opposition. So if it's 5 years term, you send so most countries, for example, may go, okay, like the Gambia. Gambia is the only country in our region that the presidency can win under simple majority. All other countries, absolute majority. So, for example, if the president of Gambia won an election with 30% of the votes, maybe you had 10 candidates, and the president won 30%, and the president decides that it's winner take all. So the 30% of us going to rule Gambia for the next 5 years, and then you're leaving 70% out. You already have problems. That's why I was very happy when I read a few weeks ago that President Barrow met with the opposition community. They're beginning to talk. I hope we can do that more. So you have different reasons for coup in the region. Best case study today in our region is Ghana. Ghana is sailing well with the democracy. There are challenges in Ghana. I'll tell you that for free. I mean, she comes from the opposition party in Ghana. And every day we're making calls in Ghana. We're following up on issues. I happen to be friends of both the opposition and the ruling party. I'm very close to President Nana Akufo-Addo. I'm very close to President John Mahama, former President John Mahama. So I'm between them, but I know exactly what's happening in Ghana. But are they using that in a negative manner? No. They're exercising democracy. And that's what we want our other countries to do. I was just in Senegal for the election, for the parliamentary election. You saw what happened in Senegal. It's more like a split house with the three single parties being able to call the shots on which side they go. Of course, the ruling party has an upper hand, but it's a very close one compared to what people anticipated. Yeah. So our region is evolving. President Barrow won a landslide election on December 4th. And analysts thought that because of that landslide election, you would have had the same landslide election for the ruling party in February. It proved the contrary. Yes, he got a slight majority, but not as anticipated compared to the result of December 4th. So things involved. And again, until citizens get involved, get to know, and there is no suppression, corruption. Our meetings here talking about corruption in high places. We need to tackle corruption. We need to address the women issue. We need to address the minority issue. We need to listen to the opposition community. So the war has evolved. 1975, when ECOWAS was formed, you didn't have this kind of facility. Where I'm speaking to you today, and people all over the Gambia can follow. You know, you didn't have a facility where I can just go on my Facebook page today and give fake news and people believe it because it's on the internet.
Interesting.
So there are challenges.
Exactly. Let me now bring in Honorable Ayamba here. Earlier on, you talk about women representation in our national parliaments, even at the ECOWAS parliament, where the number of women there is just few. I mean, how do we deal with this issue? Are you suggesting quota system across all ECOWAS member states to achieve this agenda?
Yes, as I earlier on started giving the analysis, all I want to say is that individual countries, some countries have their unique ways of handling this particular issue of either the quota system, seeding of seats, appointments, and what have you. It depends on the individual countries. And mostly we refer to it as the affirmative action. Honorable Senator Snow made our day and our time in Gambia by announcing to us that their parliament have been recalled at least to look at the 30% inclusion of women in Liberia. And that is what we want to hear, because at least the other half of the human side is also being catered for, and that our concerns will be listened to. We have Benin, which is also trying as much as it can. Senegal has done very well, and we are hoping that they will do more. And we wish that governments, or for that matter presidents, or for that matter political parties, will take this upon themselves. The country is unique and can decide on which way it wants to go. You can cede some of your strongholds, the various, if there are two political parties. For instance, in Ghana, we have the NDC and the MPP. Maybe there can be a decision to be taken that is taken that, okay, in the coming elections, NDC, we want you to cede 20 of your strongholds to women. MPP, we also want you to cede 20. Plus the already existing 2020 we have on both sides of the aisle. That would have given us an 80% leeway. Now, an 80 member, not 80%, an 80 member leeway. Now, in doing so, you are not going to compel anybody that on that seat that you have seated, it should be an NDC or an MPP. A woman is a woman. Women should contest on that seat. If it's the NDC that wins, fine. If it's the MPP that wins, so be it. They are still women. These are some of the methods. Some people have also suggested appointments, appointing people into the parliament. Now, there is a very big question there, and there is a problem, which I have always looked at. I don't know how far that will be good for us women, because in Ghana, for instance, it's a winner take all. The president will not go and take anybody who is an MPP, an NDC to come and do anything. So if you ask it for be an appointment by any incoming president, it might be like at a time NDC will have more, at another time MPP will have more women, because it is the government that will be appointing. That is one issue. The second issue is that as we say we need women, we consider all of us equal. But at least there are people who are interested, there are people who are competent, there are people who have the confidence and can do the work. These are the women that we actually need, so that it doesn't look like, okay, you say we should bring women, we brought them. What are they able to say? Even in parliament, they can't talk. They cannot even move. Even to come out of their homes, they can't. And so on and so forth, which will pull down or bring down women again. No, we don't like that. So if it comes to the appointments, I have a very big question mark there. Now, what do I want to suggest? I want to suggest that all our presidents, for that matter, or our governments or our parties, should support women who are coming in to contest into positions or into parliament. How do you support them? Women are very vulnerable even when it comes to their own homes. Most women will not want to leave their families and be running after politics. That is because if you begin running after politics, even your resources, the finances, the little that you have will be seen into the political side rather than your home. So there should be some form of encouragement, and men should be involved, because many a times in Africa, and for that matter, our cultural homes, women are married to men and live with them. And so they should be involved to understand that, no, your wife being involved in politics is not a pull away or a distraction of your family. That should be made loud and clear. And the support in resources shouldn't be like just anything. It should be from the government. Because today, if you look at our politics, it's money. Wherever you go, no matter how you look at it, it's money. So that support should be there. Now let us look at ECOWAS Parliament. I have said it at ECOWAS Parliament that it should be by appointment. That is because it's not just a one member state parliament. It's for all 15 states.
member states.
Very good. So even if the commission discusses at its highest level with the parliament itself, with all the leaderships and what have you, the presidents, and then they say, okay, we have 15 member states. We need 2 from each country. But we need 1 from the ruling and 1 from the opposition. You see, it will help because you tend to realize that after all, it's not the ruling or the non-ruling that is there. And then you can appoint them. We should start from there. And as my colleague, Honorable Snow, was saying, we should let there be some sensitization. There should be some coordination, collaboration, discussions, visibility to let us understand that we women, we want to involve because we know we are best peace keepers. And let me also use this word. We are the best peace wanters. Forget about our individual homes. Some people say that, oh, in the home, when you hear that there's any problem, it's the woman. No, that's a private thing. It's between the wife and the husband. That's nobody's this thing. But in leadership, and when you go out there to look for peace, I can assure you, women can hear, listen, and understand more. When it comes to this peace we are talking about.
I have to jump in here.
Yeah,
are you actually giving us a recipe for women to have position in power or to get position in parliament on a silver platter?
That is why I said I am not in any way saying that. I don't agree with the appointments. That is what I said. I hope you heard that loud and clear.
I heard that clear.
Very good. So I do not want the issue of, but if a woman presents herself to contest the position, she should be supported. She should be given all the opportunities. You see,
why should the woman be supported?
Yes, she should be supported because women naturally do not have the resources that men have. No matter where you go, they don't. And it's not, you see, you have a handful. Take 10 people. Both men and women, but 5 men.
Who should support that woman? That's the question.
I am talking of governments. The governments and their parties. I belong to the NDC.
I would see that as discrimination.
No, just a minute. If you come to the NDC, for instance, and I am contesting the filing fee, if it is 10,000, because of the gender issue, where women are being supported, they pay. The men will pay the 10,000, and the women will pay 5,000. It's not a discrimination because it is well known that until that encouragement is there, someone will tell you, well, I'm interested. I know the people. I can work. I can do this. I can do that. But I don't have the money to even pay for the filing fee. Meanwhile, the person belongs to your party. What are you as an individual who has gone on platforms, gone on national television and said that you are going to have 30% women? What are you doing to ensure that you get that 30%? And how are you getting them?
Thank you very much.
Now, let me thank the Gambian Vice President. When he came to meet with us at our meeting, the delocalized meeting in ICC, he told us that there is an opportunity and that there is going to be that resolution to at least have 30% women in Gambian Parliament. And as an activist and then the chairperson for gender, we'll be coming back to him to discuss just as we are doing. And we'll be interested in you people helping us to come out with the best in which we can get the 30% women. We will be learning from also Liberia because they have taken the lead already. So they will be able to tell us. Exactly. And we will sell it to Ghana because Ghana too will have a problem.
Exactly. You want to come in here. Well, yes.
You talked about corruption, that's something. And also we've seen the climate change, what is ECOWAS actually doing in terms of that implementation and stuff?
And not just health, we have several initiatives. You have trade, health, education. But it seems ECOWAS seems to focus more only on peace and security. How are these initiatives also working as far as ECOWAS is concerned?
No, you're wrong. ECOWAS is working on a lot of other things at the same time. The only thing is that the issue of peace and security is on the table at this time. But all of our other programs are going on. Climate change, we have a whole setup for example, in Cape Verde. We've been doing a lot of research in Cape Verde. Of course, with wind energy, also solar energy, the different effects of those things. We still have a whole setup there in Cape Verde. The issue of corruption is major. It's a major issue in our region. It's becoming more of a way of life. Than something we should fight against. Corruption fights back very well, very hard. So, and corruption has been most of the security issues we have is linked to corruption. Underlying factors are linked to corruption. So again, we need to fight about it. Sometimes it's perceived. Sometimes actions, for example, one of our debates, our presentations during our meeting, we had a very sharp gentleman, read a portion of your procurement laws, but then did not read the entire procurement law. So he read a portion that was comfortable, that made it seem that the government was corrupt. And then when our researchers went and gave us the full text, it may not be best practice or practice acceptable in other countries, but it's in your laws. Your law provided for what the government did. So then how do you draw that line that the practice was corrupt? So sometimes, like my colleague said when she opened, we are very careful how we present our programs. And I knew exactly the background she came from, which I was going to address. I came to Gambia, we had a press conference, and I said, there's a resolution on the table. There's also discussions among the head of states in the good governance architecture so that no president will serve three terms. So that you serve your 2 terms, serve your first term, and if you are elected by your people again, you have a second term, and then you leave. I even use Ghana as an example. She was at that press conference. The following day, a newspaper I said that ECOWAS Parliament will sponsor a bill.
And you don't have that. you don't
sponsor bills. But it was widely said. I mean, Ghanaians were sending it all over. Yeah. Even someone from the presidency forwarded it to me. ECOWAS Parliament will sponsor a bill to do this, to block third term to do this. No. Yeah. So we don't come to a country to try to be confrontational. No. Exactly. We give the message, give the picture, and then the citizens will decide what they want to do. So again, like I talk about fake news. So our work is in corruption may not only be going to take money from someone, but even the way we present falsehoods, fake news, could be linked to corruption. So we have a challenge. We have a major challenge. How can we solve this? How can we work on it? The minds today, the human mind today is far more sophisticated than what it was 2 years ago. Before I say 20 years or 40 years ago. So we have a big tax. We have a very huge tax in ECOWAS, and that's why, I don't know if you know about this, but ECOWAS was established on purely economic principles. Economic principles. That's what the E is for. Today, we are migrating now from ECOWAS of a community of economic principle to a community of people, where we have solidarity. The first time in ECOWAS has a troop. We have our troops in Gambia protecting your country, protecting your president, but the president of the ECOWAS Commission comes from the Gambia. ECOWAS has troops in Guinea-Bissau protecting the president, but the chair of authority of ECOWAS, head of states and government, comes from Guinea-Bissau.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That's solidarity.
From 1975 to date, there have been lots of talks, but little has been done. Ideas, great, fantastic ideas. A lot of meetings. And, critics will say, what, ECOWAS is more of a talking shop.
I disagree.
I mean, I want to hear from her. I mean, lots of meetings. I mean, in the Gambia here, quite often I'll find out from one parliamentarian after every week or two. I mean, ECOWAS meeting. ECOWAS Parliament. A lot of meetings, a lot of talking.
I disagree.
Yeah, you may disagree.
I'll take after her.
Yeah. You don't make laws.
I'll take that
a lot of
her.
things.
I disagree.
Yeah, I want
Honorable Ayamba.
Thank you very
Ayamba
much.
to come to that.
But I want to say I more than disagree.
More than disagree. Why do you disagree?
Yes, I disagree because I had already mentioned how ECOWAS works. ECOWAS is not a single country's parliament or a single state parliament. It's a parliament made of so many.
Yes.
And from 1975, if you think that we have only been talking, also put some of the issues. You see, the way you have put it blatantly look like, after all, nothing has ever come out. No. So many things have come out because you realize that even the unity, even my being here is an achievement. Even my sitting in this studio and talking about unity. But for ECOWAS, I wouldn't have been here. And we have stepped in so many countries to also stop one or two things from happening. Liberia is one.
Gambia.
Gambia too is another. I mean,
It's
if you say this, just as you have mentioned, and he was saying, we need to be out there.
Yeah, right. You need to be out there, one step forward, two steps back. We have Guinea, we have Mali.
Why do you say two steps forward, one step back?
No, one step forward.
Why do you say that? He has analyzed and told you how those issues that even you were putting on table came. Just a minute.
Okay.
He has analyzed and told you how. And you realize that there are some of them that, what can ECOWAS do? For instance, ECOWAS is watching you and knows that you are in the right direction. Huh? And then all of a sudden, your government wins.
Turn around. When the government collapsed, that's when you turn around and say, we sanction you. Why not then do, something?
But that is why he was explaining to you. Take the issue where the president won. Now it goes to parliamentary elections. He realized that, hey, in parliament I'm going to have minority. And then he begins to maneuver with the figures. How was ECOWAS going to know that this is what he would do?
Let me say this. When Alpha Conde was contemplating to change the constitution, to go to a referendum, to twist the arms of the citizen, ECOWAS merely said they went to the airport and they were not allowed.
But if they went to the airport, they were not allowed. What happens?
But when the coup d'etat came, you turn around and say you have sanctioned the junta.
Yes.
Why not then sanction Conde then, what he was doing?
But
you allow him to have a free hand.
Where was Conde for him to be sanctioned? That
but you knew what he was doing. It was a recipe for disaster. And that's what
Let me
happened.
bring in Honorable Snow here. Honorable, we all know the current speaker. That's Speaker Tunis is spearheading this agenda to have ECOWAS parliamentarians directly elected. What's your take on this?
Before I go to that,
That's right.
I have to come back to that question because I think it's a wrong indictment on ECOWAS. Yeah. Today, you can sit in the studio, you can say ECOWAS is doing little or nothing because Yahya Jammeh is not here. But ECOWAS played that role.
That was a collective responsibility.
Led by
citizens of the Gambia,
led by
ECOWAS and international community.
That's what my colleague said.
Yes.
So ECOWAS doesn't work in isolation. We work with the citizens of the country. We don't just come to a country and say we are on our own. We are an island. No, I flew in this country. If I tell you, there are things I won't say to you in the studio.
Oh, are you saying, that's why I'm back in the Gambia?
No. Today, you have multiplicity of radio and television stations in the Gambia because there is no Yahya Jammeh. But don't forget, when President Buhari, when President John Mahama, when President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf flew into this country and had hours of meetings with Yahya Jammeh. Don't forget, when we came here, President Barrow asked him. We flew him out of here at night. He slept in Monrovia the next day to Mali in trying to get Yahya Jammeh out of this country. There are things I wouldn't say to you. But today, you can sit and say ECOWAS is doing nothing.
Let's now move to the question.
No.
Exactly.
I have to come back to vindicate ECOWAS. It's very important for me.
Very.
Sierra Leone had a military takeover in Sierra Leone. The president today in Sierra Leone was a military man. He overthrew the government. ECOWAS played a major role. The sweat and blood of our soldiers from Nigeria, from Ghana, from Cote d'Ivoire, from Senegal, from other member states, share blood and sweat in those members' countries to restore democracy, inclusive of the Gambia. My own country, Liberia, ECOMOG, when we're killing each other in Liberia, the first boots that got on the ground, even though Liberia is believed to be the stepchild of America, But the first boots that got on the ground in Liberia was from Ghana and Nigeria that restored peace in Liberia. Cote d'Ivoire, when Gbagbo lost the election and tried to force himself into power, ECOWAS led the process. Yes, followed by the French, but it was led by ECOWAS. So I would disagree with you. And it's easier to cast an indictment. But this ECOWAS today has done so much for this region. Is the glass full? No. Is the glass half empty? No. But we do have a glass that is half full.
We've run out of time.
Thank you,
I would have loved to respond to the question
But I
on
have
the
to
issue of the
vindicate
direct election of ECOWAS parliamentarians, which the current speaker, Sidi Mohamed Tunis, is really advocating to have ECOWAS parliamentary directly elected by the people to represent their people at the ECOWAS parliament. Well, with that, we bring an end to this week's State of Affairs program. Thank you so much, Honorable Senator Snow, for coming on the State of Affairs. And Ma'am, Honorable Ayamba, thank you so much for coming on the State of Affairs.
Thank you too for having us. We are grateful.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Well, viewers, with that, we bring an end to this program. Do join us next week. Until then, continue watching QTV. You can also watch this broadcast on YouTube and of course at Facebook at QTV Gambia. Until then, bye-bye.